People.
Hi, everybody.
So my name is Eric Mack. I'm the information officer for Taos Search and Rescue. And here, of course, is our president, Delinda Van Brighton. And we're here because of a lot of things. Because it's time to fundraise, but it's a weird, weird year. So we all know 2020 has been strange. And normally this time of year, we would be out shaking cans for money, but we decided that wasn't the smartest thing to do. So we're doing
Yes.
our fundraiser online this year. And how are you doing, by the way, Delinda? Maybe we should start there.
Hey, I am great. Even in the times of COVID, you got to make the most of it. The good news is that, everybody only sees you in times of COVID from about here down. So, you could still be in your PJs and conduct business these days, it seems.
Not that I know anything about that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I do have on a regular pair of pants, but it's just a crazy time. It's just a crazy time for everyone, and we had to really work hard to figure out how we were going to do this year in terms of raising our annual operating budget. And so here we are.
Right. And so let's start there. Normally, well, let's just start with what is on Taos Search and Rescue in case there's somebody who wound up here randomly on this live stream and doesn't know. Let's just start a little bit with, what we're here for and what the organization is all about that we're trying to raise money for this weekend.
Okay, so yeah, Taos Search and Rescue. It's a 501c3 organization, which means, we're a nonprofit tax-deductible organization. We're all volunteers, so no one in our organization gets paid. That's very important to understand. So all the time we give the entire organization is all volunteer. And what Taos Search and Rescue does is it responds to people who are lost or just down and injured in all the off-road areas of New Mexico, basically. We sometimes go up into Colorado as well and help with searches when resources are, run too thin in Colorado as well. But we can respond all over the state of New Mexico. And so if someone is lost and or injured and can't get themselves out, Search and Rescue responds. I lost you somehow, Eric.
I know I muted myself. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna work through this. Normally this is a lot more challenging. There's a lot more multitasking going on than standing in front of Smiths and shaking a can. So.
Yes, which we're very used to do. We're used to doing. We've done that for many, 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 many years. I've been on the team for going on 19 years now, and this is what we've always done: is shake those cans. And our community is always like super generous, super, super supportive of Search and Rescue, and we couldn't be more grateful. But it's also one of the only times we sort of get to see our public, and it's an amazing, amazing experience standing in front of the stores and shaking those cans, because people come up and I can't express how touching it is, the things that people say to you, their gratitude for Search and Rescue. And so, usually we're going out in the middle of the night and nobody knows that we've gone out, or, it's sort of a very incognito thing. And, it's kind of nice that way too. But when we stand in front of those stores, we actually get to interact with the public who does know what we do for the most part, and is always very deeply appreciative of what we do as a team.
And that community support basically keeps the entire ship afloat because there's no federal funding. We don't get any money from the state, and it is completely a people-powered, volunteer and community funded organization.
Yes, it's a completely people and community powered organization in terms of no government funding. Our operating budget, which our community helps us meet every year, it all comes from the community. We sometimes get a few little donations from someone whom we've rescued. You know, that may happen, but generally not. We do have some kind of some very small income streams that do happen, like we're part of the SIDS CHIPS program, for example. Although right now during COVID, that program has been disbanded at SIDS, so we're no longer getting that support. We get Smith's support. So for anyone that has a Smith's card, you can sign Search and Rescue, Taos Search and Rescue up as your benefiting organization, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can then, when you make a purchase at Smith's, it automatically donates half a cent for every dollar that you spend. And that does add up for us. So it's really a great thing. The other thing you can do is if you shop on Amazon Smile, you can point your Amazon Smile donations to Taos Search and Rescue as well. And anything that you purchase on Amazon Smile, you can't purchase on the regular site, pardon me. But Amazon Smile is the charity giving site, and that gives money to us also on a quarterly basis for anyone that shops through Amazon Smile on Amazon.
And so those are some nice like ancillary sources of revenue to keep everything going, because it's not a cheap operation, right? I mean, we're all volunteers, nobody gets paid, but
Yes.
I mean, primarily, you know, we've got two vehicles that we're trying to keep operational, and then
Correct.
there's lots of equipment that goes into being able to go into the diverse environments, whether it is up into avalanche terrain by the Taos Ski Valley, or you know, down into the gorge and doing a swiftwater rescue, and then everything in between, desert and all kinds of things.
All
Um,
kinds of things. So biodiverse here.
so, I mean, what kinds of equipment are we talking about that we're trying to both purchase and maintain?
Well, we generally, I mean, there's avalanche beacons, there's PFDs, there's snowshoes, there's avalanche probes, there's radios, there's supplies that go into the van that get utilized, whether that's fixing hot things for subjects and team members when they come in from the field. Our computer, laptop, our mapping programs that we have to upkeep. It's our, besides equipment, and there's a lot more of equipment. It's just, dog team equipment. There's weather instruments. There's antennas for the vehicles. Radios sometimes go out. We have to replace those. Vehicle maintenance. All of that. It's quite extensive. But there's also team insurance. We are insured slightly, some by the state, but that doesn't mean we're insured at trainings. And that state coverage is fairly minimal in many ways, if anything were to happen to one of our members. So we carry extra team insurance so that our members are more fully covered in case of any kind of accident for one of our team members, and also to cover us on our trainings, which is also very important, because just because you're out there on a mission, you have a lot of exposure also on trainings.
Right. And a lot of like we said, the vast majority of, it's a lot of little things that add up is kind of what I've
Yes.
come to realize, and what I'm hearing. And so, the great bulk of that usually comes from our once a year fund drive, which didn't happen in person this year, as we already mentioned. So what we're doing instead is we're doing it all online this year. That's why we're here. And so what we're doing is, if you go to sar-taos.org, you'll find all the ways to donate there. And we have also a few easier ways to remember. We're also at give to tsar.org, and you can also just type straight up Taos.gives into your browser, and that will take you to our GoFundMe page, and I'll try to bring that up here in a second. And at our GoFundMe page is where we're trying to collect our goal for this year. Actually, the vast majority of the budget we're hoping to get from that, and then from some mail-in donations that are also going out, right?
Yes, correct. We did send out a bulk mailing throughout Taos and the Taos area to let people know, because we weren't going to be standing in front of the stores, to let people know that they could also give, that it was time to give, because our fundraiser is also not at our usual time of the year. We kind of had to delay our fundraiser to get all of this going and together, and to reevaluate how we were going to do it. So we usually raise funds the first weekend after Labor Day. And this year we're, of course, doing it the first weekend after election, I guess. but
A
in
ways
any
to go.
case, yeah, well, it was tough. But we yes, besides the small ways that you can give through Amazon and through Smiths and sometimes SIDS, which are some regular streams, they amount to a very small part of our budget. And our primary budget comes from our community giving each year. And so that's very important to note. And so that is what we're doing right now, is we're really trying to raise our annual budget. Our annual budget is not that large, considering the organization that we are and what we do. And so, in fact, many people are surprised at our annual budget, which it kind of ranges between $32,000 and $36,000 a year annually for all the missions. And generally, we're responding between 15 and 25 missions a year. We're expecting that could go up quite a bit because of COVID, but we really don't know right now. We've had a few, we've had missions pretty steady for the last little bit, but that could go up or down. People seem to be going out into the wilderness a lot more right now. So that means more probability for us to have to go out. We did operate really frugally last year. Well, we always operate very frugally. We're a very, fiscally tight team and how we spend our money. But we operated even lower this year due to COVID. So we really are hoping that that this fundraising avenue will be really great for us, and that we can operate another year.
And so here's what it looks like. This is our GoFundMe page. If you go to give to tsar.org, that'll take you here to the campaign page, where you can see we've set a $15,000 goal. And we would actually like to see go past that, so we can get to the $35,000 or beyond that we typically operate off of from our fall fundraising campaign. So when you go to give to tsar.org, it'll take you right here to the GoFundMe page, and we are very thankful because we've already had, even though we're just now officially getting started with our fund drive, we've already had we've already had some donors, and let's see if I can pull some of them up so that we can recognize them. And while I do that, why don't you say a little bit more, Delinda, about what it's been like operating under COVID so far this year?
Yeah, well, when COVID came up, the first thing we had to do is sort of relook at our operating standards for how we were going to operate and still be able to go out into the field. One of the things we did have to do for quite a while is we had to cancel all trainings because we couldn't really meet as a team. I think the K9 unit started training the soonest after COVID. We were off for about 3.5 months. But we are now, some of the smaller units are training, and starting training. We started after a little bit to try to do a lot more things on Zoom. All of our board meetings went forward on Zoom, for example. And we were training online also for classroom trainings, but we weren't doing a lot of field trainings as we usually do. As far as missions, we had to change our protocol for how we interacted in our comm van. What kind of spacing we needed, protocols for mask and hand sanitizer. Those were put into all the vehicles. And all of these new procedures were written up and disseminated to the team and posted in vehicles and things so that we could still respond out in the field. And of course, having masks, at least when we're going out in the field, before we can start to distance at least 6 feet apart. We had to wear a mask. We do, so we still have been operating pretty effectively.
Yeah, I would say so. And there's really been no shortage of traffic across we use a program called Basecamp to kind of keep up with online trainings and what's going on. And there's been no shortage of chatter there as we kind of try to stay, ready and trained and informed as much as possible. And I've got now our list of donors that we've already had come in so far over the past couple of days. Here's our early bird donors that we really want to say thank you to for already stepping up and donating to the cause. So let's see, we've got a big thank you to Tim and Leslie Reeves. We've got an anonymous donor. A thank you to Daniel Miller. A big thank you to Minnesota Mike, who will be well known to some members on our team. Also, a thank you to Bo and Bonnie. Thank you very much for your contribution. Also to Cliff Locks. And a big thank you as well to Adam Seichik and Jane Setri-Seichik. Thank you very much. We've got another anonymous donor. Thank you. Thank you to Ross and Kristen Ulabari. Thank you for your donation, for your support. Also to Anita Batat. I apologize if I butchered that, but thank you for your contribution. Also, thank you to Donna Carr. Thank you to Mike and Sydney Garfias. I hope I said that one right.
Yes, you did.
Right? Okay. And finally, thank you to David and Carol Harvey. They were the first to jump in there and donate 2 days ago. I believe they're from Texas. So thank you very much already. That's fantastic that we've already got so much support.
Bravo. So if, ways to donate are, of course, all on the website. But besides the GoFundMe page, I will just tell people that the GoFundMe page requires a minimum of a $10 donation. It's just how GoFundMe is set up. We didn't really want that, but if you want to donate a smaller amount, please hit our PayPal button. PayPal, you can give any amount, and any amount is a welcome amount, because let me tell you, when we shake our cans out there in front of the stores, every tiny little bit helps, and it's those dollar bills or fives that really can add up. And of course, the larger donations, man, those are really great, but not everybody, especially in these times, can donate a large amount. So we appreciate any amount. So hit that PayPal button to donate smaller amounts. And also, if you can, if you're interested, just look at our auction. If you have something maybe you're looking for, maybe we have it for you. There's some used gear up there. Plus, there's some gifts from some fantastic local businesses that have decided to support us in that way by giving us a gift, and we're selling those gifts.
And in fact, here, let's go check out that site. So here is our auction site. This is at biddingowl.com. And I will put up the link here shortly. This is not ours. I'll come back to this. But if you go to biddingowl.com and you simply do a search, all you got to do is go into the auction search and search, or just type in Taos, and the first one that comes up should be us. So go to biddingowl.com, click on featured options there at the top, and then I'll get to what it looks like right here. Should be right there.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the site. So yeah, here we go. View all
View
items.
items.
And so here's what we have. If it'll load. I know we've got some pretty great. Here's our custom painted baseball cap. We've got the
We do have
ceramic bowl
items.
and tea
There they
towel.
are.
There's a ton of stuff. Let's see, there's a $150 gift card for SIDS. Does that already have a bid on it? Looks like that's already got a bid on it. Okay.
Right.
Electric wine set, fashion backpack, REI snowboard, ski or bike tune-up. I mean, this is great stuff here. I love this. The Underground is this really cool clothing shop on Bent Street in Taos. This is actually, my wife knows this is one of my favorites. So Christmas and my birthday, I've had more than one thing from there. Oh, and hey, look, it's my old backpack. We do have.
Love it. Love it.
I didn't. I mean, I can't promise they're all fantastic items, but actually, this backpack. It's a pretty good deal. This is a gigantic backpack that got me around Asia for 6 months of backpacking. Actually, hasn't been used much then. So that is, it's a piece of my personal history as well as supporting Taos Search and Rescue. So why not?
And that has a lot of value, Eric. In itself, that has a lot of value, and we will be we will be adding some more items as the weekend goes on.
Right.
So keep checking back. But this is our live auction right now, and we welcome you to bid on some things if things are tight, but maybe you're looking for something that's on that auction site that can be useful for you.
Right. Let's see. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about the actual budget that Taos Search and Rescue operates on. It's very frugal, as Delinda pointed out. So let's see if we have, I think we might have our treasurer, Chelsea Crawford, on the call here.
Chelsea.
Let's see. Maybe. Chelsea, are you there? I'm getting a note that she has a low bandwidth thing, so maybe we'll try.
Okay, we'll try in a
coming
little
back
bit.
to her.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of things planned for this weekend. So we've been trying to spread the word that we're doing our fundraiser all online this year. We've been spreading the word on social media. So a good place to keep up with everything that we're doing is just to go on Facebook or Instagram, search for Taos Search and Rescue will be the first thing that comes up. And there's all kinds of good stuff there. And obviously this live stream is probably there as well. It's probably where you found us. And so over the course of the weekend, we'll be having a lot more conversations like this. I've actually already recorded some conversations with our different unit leaders who will be, kind of giving a bit more of a behind the scenes about what search and rescue is all about, like the training that we do, what a mission is like, and how the different units approach those missions. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about those units before we dig into the nitty-gritty of our budget.
Sure. So Taos Search and Rescue has 10 operational specialty units. One of those units is a kind of a basic unit. It's our ground unit, which anyone who's going out in the field is on the ground unit. And that ground operation unit is trained by Chris Cody. He's our training officer. Then we also have a base unit. Base unit is all the base operations that happen under Incident Command System. So the Incident Command System is a national command system that FEMA uses and that most incident commands around the United States and now sometimes internationally. It's used internationally. It's a great system because it enables different resources to operate effectively and quickly together. And so it doesn't matter if it's a different agency or the same type of agency, but different groups within that agency are able to communicate and operate well through the incident command system. And so base operation Base operations has people that know how to do radio communications, logistics, safety, mapping and navigation for the teams that are out in the field and keeping an eye on where they are out in the field. And that's what base does. So base unit people don't have to be as physically fit as our field operators. And so that's one place where search and rescue has a place for everyone. It's one of the places. Then there are the specialty units out in the field. One of those units is medical unit, and it has all the people on it that really work on and have certification, higher certifications in medical, especially wilderness medical. And that can be, say, for example, that can be, we have paramedics, we have doctors, we have retired doctors, we have nurses on our medical unit, and then we have people that just are very interested in medical that go in and work and get their own medical wilderness medical certifications. Then we have drone unit is one of our newer units. We're one of the first teams in New Mexico to have a drone unit, and that's led by LJ Beckman. And our drone unit is a great unit. It's enabled us to have just a whole different capability out in the field for searching and also for locating people and confirming their location who may not be lost, but we know they're kind of in that area and they're just down. So that's a great new unit that we have. Tech unit, that's technical rescue, which is everything that is off a slope. Doesn't have to be a sheer cliff, but it's a much steeper terrain that is hard when it's hard for two-legged people to get up and down. And so that's the technical unit, and that is like lots of ropes, lifting litters or lowering litters out of that situation and getting people back up safely. Then we have Swiftwater. Swiftwater unit is comprised of Kelly Grossetit leads that unit, and it's comprised of a lot of people that are professional river runners. And we also operate in tandem with the BLM Swiftwater unit. We do have this last year we were able to acquire a great boat and a lot more professional gear for our Swiftwater unit, which is really needed, and we could still direct some money that way. Then we have Canine. Canine unit, of course, are the search dogs. That I'm the unit leader of that, and trainer. And search dogs, such a fascinating thing, of course, to me. I'm kind of partial to that, as you can well imagine. And the search dogs use their nose, of course, to go out in different ways. They use their nose in different ways to find people, whether it's track on the ground for air scent, or track on the ground for tracking, human scent on the ground, or human scent in the air for air scenting. And we cross-train for both live find and human remains on the canine unit. We have an OHV unit, which means off-highway vehicles. That is, snowmobile, ATVs, motorbikes, that kind of thing. We have a bike unit. We don't have a leader. Our leader just moved away. So we currently don't have a leader for OHV. Our bike unit is led by Carl Stewart, and that is mountain bike. That enables us sometimes to get equipment and resources out quickly to do hasty searches of trails that it would take hikers longer time to do, and to do a quick clearing of areas. Then we also have Winter Skills Unit. And the Winter Skills Unit is really great because it has enabled our team to become a lot more robust in terms of winter rescue, avalanche work, really assessing those situations, the safety of those very dangerous situations, and be able to really elevate the response and the safety of our team going out in some of those situations. And so, we have tons and tons of wilderness in the winter where people can get lost, or down on snowmobiles or cross-country skiing and that type of thing. So I think I covered them all, hopefully, Eric, because I did that off the top of my head.
That's good. No, I think I can't think of any others.
Okay, good.
Did you mention drone unit? That's the only one I think
Yes, that was
think
the
we got
first
that.
one. It was the
Yes, yeah,
drone unit.
okay.
I'll do that one. Yes, and the drone unit.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
And so, well, bottom line is it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And it's a lot of training and a lot of small expenses to pay for,
Yeah.
which is what we're here for. And to go over that in a little more detail, I'm going to bring in Chelsea Crawford right now, who is the treasurer for TSAR. There she is. You're with us now, Chelsea.
She's upside down. She's doing another Fred Astaire movie. She's dancing around her room.
Yes. Am I right side up?
Not yet.
There you are.
Okay. I'm good.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Very good. Thank you.
We're hanging in there. Thanks for taking the time to come and talk a little bit about the budget. So, we figure since we're asking for money, we might as well show our cards and explain, what we actually spend it on. So you've got, you must have the 2020 budget in front of you. Is that what we're working off of?
Yes, 2020 budget, approved budget, and it also shows our 2018 and 2019 actuals. So what we actually spent. We generally approve a budget that is a little bit more than we end up spending because of our frugality, which in some ways is a good thing. I think in a lot of ways is a good thing. But as you said earlier, it's a lot of littler or smaller, I should say, expenses. Our approved budget for this year was $41,000, $41,460, but it's mostly broken down into thousand or a couple of $1,000 groups, or a few groups that are only comprising of $1,000 or a few $1,000. And it's a lot of boring stuff, like, boring, meaning car insurance. And like you guys talked about the insurance, so that we are okay when we go out on missions, we have insurance. And organizational fees. There's just very little organizational fees, but they're there. And really what we had approved a larger budget for this year was a lot more training, going to conferences, and our CPR, we were getting set up to train our members on CPR and basically have our own members be able to train other members and not have to go through another organization. And so I'm not sure if you want me to say like exact numbers. I know we put them out there, so they're there.
I'd just be curious, what are some of, like, so people could have an idea, maybe what some of the larger categories or, single expenses are. We've mentioned car insurance, but like, what are some of the bigger categories?
So the biggest category this year, like I was mentioning, we were really ramping up for training, and that's an $11,400 ticket. Altogether, we had $3,500 for specialty training, $3,300 for conferences like Escape, which we unfortunately weren't able to do this year, and also just training for statewide certification. My apologies. And that was $1,500, and then we allotted $3,100 for the CPR and first aid training, to be able to buy that equipment and set our members up to be able to teach other members.
Yes, which in the long run, I'm sorry, which in the long run will save the organization money, because we're certifying our own members instead of having to pay out of pocket to other organizations to certify our members. And so that was the thinking in making that investment this year.
Yes. And then just below that actually is another large group, our unit expenses. So like we talked about earlier, you guys talked about earlier, maintaining our equipment and also getting new equipment. We talked about getting a boat for Swiftwater, which is imperative. And for our technical unit, new ropes. Maintaining all of that equipment is clearly very important. We can't just be using old ropes trying to pull people up on a litter. And
Liability.
really, yeah. And our winter skills unit, we can't be training on avalanche areas without beacons and shovels that are appropriate for that setting. K9 has an $1,100 budget this year. And obviously, they're one of our most used units. They're incredible. And so they need their training. And so that's pretty much our unit expenses. Drone got $1,400 for a new drone this year. We were using a Phantom 4, which at this point is relatively outdated, and we are still using civilian drones. We have the Mavic Pro Zoom now. That was our $1,400 expense, and the batteries for that. And like I said, that's still a civilian drone. I would think that's kind of expensive, but that's still just a civilian drone. If we want a search and rescue drone, they cost quite a bit more. And so that's something that we look to in the future because they have great capabilities, such as being able to actually fly supplies to a subject or searchers and to be able to communicate both ways with subjects or searchers. And so that's why we want a better drone, but we're using what we can obtain for now.
Wish list.
Yes.
Wish list.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, so, I mean, when you consider it, it kind of blows my mind when you say like the entire training budget is $11,000 because that is used to train a team that if you include, applicants and new trainees and everybody's up to 80 people, I think. And so training for a team of, up to 80 plus, several units that are all of their different specialties, that's really going a long way.
Definitely. It is. That's why I say we're very frugal and we very carefully choose the trainings we decide to pay for and who goes and all of that. It's very carefully spent.
Yes. Yeah. And I just have to say, Chris Cody, our training officer, does an incredible job providing training every month for the team and isn't paid, doesn't charge us. And so that's really what keeps our team sort of together and training together without having to go through conferences or anything like that.
Yeah, Chris is pretty amazing. In addition to being the training officer, he's also on the winter skills unit and the leading the winter skills unit on the tech unit too, which are two of the really most specialized units. There's a lot of, I mean, when you talk about kind of high stakes and you really need to know what's happening second to second. Because one wrong move in those environments could be very problematic. So
absolutely,
that's really really a blessing to have that expertise.
Yeah, Chris is great. Chris is just great. What a wonderful person, great leader. But we have a lot of great leaders on this team. It's a wonderful thing.
And hopefully we'll be speaking with a lot of them throughout the weekend. We're looking at almost an hour here, so I'll kind of move to wrap things up so we can get on to whatever our pandemic Friday night plans are. But some fun things that we got coming up just to preview. This was just kind of our little Friday night preview, honestly, to make sure that everything works. And so I think we've worked out some of the kinks. and also just kind of gotten the word out there. But tomorrow, we're hoping to start things off with some fun, a little bit. We're calling it Wake Up Hour with Watt, with Rob Watt, who's going to play a little banjo for us, local musician, who, fun fact, played at my wedding in 2005.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Not only do we have my backpack for sale, we've got my wedding banjo player.
We see
And
a theme here.
what's that?
We see a theme here.
Yeah, right. So the plan, hopefully, we'll keep the technical difficulty demons away, and that'll work around 8 a.m. tomorrow. We're hoping to kick things off with a little music. LJ and I are working to see if maybe we can get a drone live demo, maybe get a little bit of live video from the drone. If not, we've got plenty of other great drone footage just kind of show you. The actual drone's eye view is pretty spectacular. How that can help in a search is some really cool 21st century stuff. Our medical officer Roy Dunlap will have a lot of information for us on wilderness first aid and all kinds of other things that I think would be of use to anyone living here in northern New Mexico in the environment that we're in. Delinda, you're planning to give a little talk on the canine unit tomorrow around midday, and maybe we'll have a couple of tricks from Yoda as well.
Sure, I could probably set that up. Sure.
Okay.
Some fun and funny tricks. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, that'll be great.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
That's just kind of a taste of what we got going on. So, to kind of get a sense of what we do and what goes into being able to respond in so many different situations that you run into here in northern New Mexico. We're hoping to use this weekend, while we're asking for your support, to also give you kind of a peek behind the curtain to see how it all works and how we pull it all together. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that throughout the weekend. Here we're on, obviously on Facebook Live and on YouTube as well. Just search for Taos Search and Rescue there. But the more important link today is right down there, and that is give2tsar.org. And we're trying to meet our goals there. And also, don't forget biddingowl.com. We mentioned that. That's where my lovely backpack is. Go to biddingowl.com, click on featured auctions, type in Taos, and our auction will be the first that comes up. There's some really great deals there. Maybe get a tune from REI for less than retail price. You never know. There's all kinds of possibilities there. So that's what we're doing. Any other final thoughts before we sign off for the evening, ladies?
Well, I want to thank you, Eric, for doing such a great job. Eric has put a lot of time and energy into putting the live stream together, as well as working with our committee on getting all the social media posts up that you're seeing. So I want to do a shout out to our fundraising committee and to Eric for doing such a great job on this particular section of it for live streaming. And a lot of the videos that you'll see on the live streaming are done by Chelsea and LJ. So I want to give a shout out to them. Tamar Stieber, who's doing a lot of writing. Carl Stewart has also helped us with some technical things and putting up some signs today so our community can know more about the fundraiser. I want to thank Paymone for gathering the gifts, and it takes a team, and it's been a great team. And Carly McGinnis, who is our secretary, for keeping track of everything that is happening on all these social media streams. So thank you very much to the great TSAR team and fundraising committee. But the biggest thanks goes out to our community who supports us every year. And we could not do this service without you. You've been so generous every year, and we're just so grateful every year for your generosity. Thank you.
And that includes Tom and Joan Ryan, who just made their contribution 5 minutes ago. And so we thank you. And please spread the word to your network as well, so we can keep our life-saving service going for one more year.
Yes, share the post. Share the post.
Share the post.
Yes.
Get it trending, folks.
Get it trending. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, have a good weekend, and I will be back here in the morning. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Delinda, for all that you do as well.
Thank you, both of you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Have a good night.
Good night.